Yeah. And you like, just because I didn't really go many places doesn't mean I didn't have a great time at home. It's pretty easy to read someone's intentions, even if they're carefully trying to mask them. I feel like you can always read people's energy, you know? Like, you know, you can tear everything down and turn it into a bad light. And I feel like the Bible is there to be like, I want to be remembered by those who I actually impacted and who loved me. You affect everyone around you. You know, everything's intertwined. You spend too much time living in the past, judging your past self.
Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long-Term Podcast. I'm your host, Advent Villa. Today, we have artist known as Freshie, university student, and one of my best friends, all the way from Hinton, Ethan Jahnke. We will discuss university life, how to succeed, make friends, and make the best out of your time in university, living a principled life, having God, and prioritizing values instead of giving into temptation, and how to make friends and flourish and to leave this world with a positive mindset, because I know it can be tough, and Ethan and I usually have really deep convos on our own, so this is just, you know, with the camera in there and the mics, we explore a lot of different topics. I'm super thankful to have Ethan in my life. He has really added to the university experience, and he's been there for me. And yeah, I really found this episode valuable, and I think you guys could too. So everyone, welcome, enjoy. But yeah, man, you were one of my first ever friend on university.
Wait, are we recording right now?
Yeah, we're recording right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you want to like talk as close to the mic as possible
Okay.
too? Yeah, and you
Like
can
I can
kind of
adjust it.
get it in. Yeah, like that.
Okay.
But yeah, bro. You try to keep, if you're gonna like lean back, try to make it go with you, just so it's easier for.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Sweet, man. Welcome to the Long-Term Podcast.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Dude, it's been I had wanted you first ever week I started this, man. So yeah, how's the summer, bro?
It was good. It was I don't want to use the word boring, but like I had like a chill summer. I certainly did stuff, but I just did a lot of working with my dad and going to the gym, trying to get in that good routine. I've been eating really good, and I had a really good summer though. One of my best summers of my life. So yeah.
What made it stand out?
What made it stand out is just like, I don't know, this time around I was really appreciating the time with my family. Like I was very conscious of all the time we're spending together. Like when we're playing board games, I wasn't taking it for granted as much. I was making that happen more, you know, like if everyone's not busy at night, let's play a board game, or, you know,
Kind
stuff
of the
like
instigator.
that. Yeah. Yeah. And you, like, just because I didn't really go many places doesn't mean I didn't have a great time at home.
I think a lot of people certainly stress too much about, going to a different country. I need to be able to go to this event on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found out, bro, is you don't need to have a fancy event to be able to have a good time. One of the most memorable moments in my summer was playing a board game with the family,
Mm-hmm.
going out for coffee with a friend, hitting a workout with a buddy. Very simple. Going for a run. You don't need to structure a great summer, a great life.
Yeah.
You don't need to have extravagant vacations and prestige. You just need simplicity.
Yeah. Like I don't know, when's the last time you went on a vacation? Was it the Philippines?
Actually, yeah, no, the Australia, Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you probably remember all the stresses that come with travel is nuts. Like the airport, super stressful, you know, and lots of people only go on vacation for like a week. And so that you're that's the bread. That's the bread to the sandwich. You start off all stressed out at the airport, like especially we're always late at the airport, or
Yeah.
like, and it's real early in the morning, you know, you got to get up at like 5, 6, rush down to the airport. You got to be at your terminal, hour wait, like all that. And then even once you get there, like trying to find accommodation, trying to find a car, you know, like hopefully you planned all that stuff. But like doing that stuff while you're there, to me I find it super stressful.
Yeah, I think going on vacation, sure, it's really memorable, but I've had really awful moments just being discombobulated on the plane before the airport, stressed. Like, did I forget this, that? You have to remember all these things. Passport, you're continuously checking your passport and you're just worried that it's gonna it's just gonna somehow get lost amidst all, even though it's the most important thing, right? Because you're also checking for your phone.
Yeah.
You're looking for the gate number. And I think it's really, life doesn't need to all these vacations for it to be a good, worthy life.
No.
Certainly I appreciate all the times I went to the Philippines and Australia, but usually it's to see my loved ones, right? I'd have no, like, if I was told I wasn't allowed to travel anymore, I think I wouldn't really sweat it all that much. I much more appreciate the people around me. I don't, like, when I see the places, when I see these events, it's I don't really remember the scenery. I more remember the people around me.
Yeah, like, and when you're gonna go see someone, there's a purpose to the trip. You know, it's not just like, because when you have a week and the whole point of the trip is to relax, that's like, there's almost pressure to relax, which is like, ironic, right? Like, and so like, even if you're going somewhere and you choose that location because you have somewhere you really want to go, that's an objective. But I think lots of people, like, especially on Instagram, you get like that FOMO. You see someone just went to Hawaii. You're like, oh, you know, why aren't I in Hawaii? You know, like, and then you go there and I don't know, all you come out with is that picture lots of times, you know, like, obviously you had some good dinners and good stuff, but it's like, was it worth I don't know, how much is a trip? Like $5,000?
Yeah, around there.
Somewhere up there, you know, and it's like, when I could have, I don't, like, think about all the things you could have done at home in that time, taking that time off, you know, still treating it like a vacation, but at home. Like, lots of people in Canada haven't even been around Canada. They're always flying to other places. I don't get it. It's like
even being on campus, like, you don't really, a lot of people don't really see the vast beauty of university life.
Yeah.
Going, walking around, the opportunities are endless, man. There's all these different clubs. There's all these different professors, different people.
Yeah.
Just spots, areas to study in, because we get so caught up in, we take it for granted. When really, if you take someone that hasn't been around this area, it's all very novel to them once they come here. Like, let's say they're from a different country. It's all just, whoa. You know? Like,
it's like when I bring my buddies on campus, they I don't know if they've ever been in a university before, and it's like, it's just really cool to, like, even the architecture, like you said, there's all these interesting people around, and like, when you're actually enrolled in the school too, there's so much potential. Like, I remember in my first year, I don't think I did any clubs. I don't think, like, I didn't engage with the university campus at all. I went to my classes, like, on my breaks, I'd go sit down somewhere and go on my computer or go on my phone and listen to music. And I, other than that, I didn't really explore anywhere. Whereas now I'm more like, okay, what clubs can I actually get into? And what advantages what resources can I take advantage of? And even just, like, here's a big one, is walking around campus with your earphones in. You know what I mean? Like, you limit yourself so much when you have your earphones in. You're blocking out the world. I get, especially on the new AirPods, get the noise canceling. Can't even, if someone, you know, like, lots of the people I've met in my building right now has been because I don't have my earphones in. Because when you're in the elevator, no one's going to start up a conversation with you when you have your earbuds in, right?
I was actually just in a class, and this one girl, the entire class, bro, she had her headphones in. So what does that what does that tell you to the other students in her class?
Like during lecture?
Yeah.
What?
Maybe it was off.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
it's just, but
Are they like the beats that go over the head?
yeah, but
She had those on the whole time.
yeah, but it shows that, hey, it signals that, hey, I don't want you to talk to me. Don't approach me.
Mm-hmm.
When really a lot of university life, it's about connecting with people. It's about being open to novel ideas and exploring the different cultures that are within campus, because there's all these people from different countries, and a lot of university students gravitate towards that culture because they want their
What culture?
minds to be engaged and tested,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you can only do that through speech and engaging with others. And I feel a lot of people limit themselves because they get so caught up in the grades. And while you can't be getting F's, D's
No.
in every single class,
Even a C, like, come on.
yeah,
you know.
yeah, you need to pass and you need to come out of there actually learning from each class.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of students that I've met limit themselves because they just go home right away. They don't engage in being open to events and other people, and just even leveraging that friend you have in class. Why are they in that program? Have you ever asked them? I ask that all the time, and people come up with all sorts of answers.
Yeah. You need to be active on campus. You need the, like, even like if it's just meeting up with a buddy, you guys are sitting down in the cafeteria, you're part of that environment. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. I've seen like, even like, and people always want to engage with you. Like, it's not like you're just this social pariah and no one wants to talk to you and they're like, what's this guy doing here? You know, like, it's like everyone who's sitting beside you is probably wants friends just as much as you do, or wants to meet people and wants to, like, it's actually super easy to engage. And if that person doesn't want to engage, it's like something on their end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Our story, for example, if I wasn't open to being your buddy, if I wasn't open to actually getting to know you because, I've got my friends in Sherwood Park already, I wouldn't have this best friend that I've ran a marathon with, had all these deep discussions after class, before class, kind of those support system, right? Because I remember you and I met my first year, and we were partnered up into this because there weren't enough booklets for this poem, Lady Lazarus.
Lady Lazarus.
For
in Jahnke's class.
And
Lady Jahnke.
And then within that class we met all sorts of people.
Oh, what's his name? What's
Bailey?
Bailey, man. Shout out Bailey.
Bailey.
That guy was, that's what I'm talking about. You know, people just want to engage with you, you know?
Yeah. And it's when you don't show up to class, when you don't actively engage yourself because you're already satisfied with the friends that you made in high school, or maybe you're shy.
Yeah.
And it's something you're fearful of. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Oh, yeah.
You got all these people with all these ideas.
Yeah. Like, you're just not opening yourself up to anything. Like, that's actually been a problem for me this year, is because, like, in the last 2 years while I've been in the city, none of my, like, out of my graduating class, I think 3 people went to university, like U of A or MacEwan. And I can only think of one girl now out of my grade who's still in university right now. Like, lots of guys from Hinton and stuff go to the trades and stuff. So, you know, I didn't really know anyone, and that kind of forced me to come out of my shell and, like, not because, like, if you don't, you know, for me it was like not life or death, but it's like, you know, you don't have any friends if you don't actually put yourself on the line like that. Whereas now lots of the grade below me have come into MacEwan, and I'm at MacEwan now, and it's just like, there's less temptation for me to talk to anyone in class, but I've had to check myself and like
Yeah.
make sure I still do that, because even though I still got buddies.
You need to be able to be open to getting hurt.
Yeah.
You need to be able to
The rejection, right?
the rejection.
Rejection therapy.
And that's, people just think it's romantic relationships.
yeah.
It happened all the time. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Like there'd be for everyone listening, the story. Ethan and I had this left and right method, and we would talk to the person left to us,
Mhm.
and then talk to the person right to us.
Works like a charm.
It works like a charm, and it exposes you to all sorts of people. And then there'd be a handful of people each semester that just wouldn't vibe with us, and we'd exchange stories on.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they've skipped class. No. You look behind, they're sitting at a different spot, and you're just like, okay,
They did not like you.
Guess they didn't like me.
No.
Maybe they thought that I was
Flirting.
flirting with them.
That was a tough one for me.
Yeah, maybe they thought that we were intimidating.
Yeah.
There's all these
A
different
weirdo.
explanations.
Yeah.
Weirdo, and you need to be able to go. Yeah, you just didn't. I can't go deeper than that. I can't force someone to like me
Mm-hmm.
and just make more other friends. And that's on them.
Oh yeah. And lots of time, like it's like you talk to that person, but they're like super weird, and you weren't feeling the vibe, and then you got to be
Yeah.
that person that moves away. But you know,
Mhm.
the beauty of that thing is it keeps out the bias. You know what I mean? Because there's a couple gems in that class that you're not going to sit beside because of biases that everyone has, right?
Yeah, like look at this guy. He's just
who's this
he
guy?
seems intimidating. He seems like he doesn't want to be anyone's friend.
Yeah. It can go both ways. Hey, you're either
Yeah.
intimidated by them, or you think sometimes you're like, oh, I'm better than this guy.
Yeah.
Why would I go subject myself to
Or
this loser? You know?
no, or they look extremely friendly, but they're actually not.
That's the worst
Yeah.
one. That's
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
bit by that one for sure.
Yeah, no, I sat beside this girl in my first philosophy class, and she was giving me one-word answers. And yeah, what'd you do this summer? She's like, yeah, just worked. What'd you work? He said some.
No, what about you?
Yeah. No, what about you?
Yeah.
Maybe, see, I could have left that class going, oh man, like she just didn't like the way I talked. Was
I
it something
suck.
in my eye?
Yeah.
Was it a character thing?
Yeah.
She doesn't know anything about me. And then she didn't give me time
To show yourself, right?
show my authentic self. And when you go into it with an authentic mind, with purity, but not all the time it's going to be like that, but you're actually genuine and you're curious and you actually want to get to know the other person, that's all you need. And usually people are great at absorbing the intentions,
Mm-hmm.
I find.
Yeah. It's pretty easy to read someone's intentions, even if they're carefully trying to mask them. I feel like you can always read people's energy, you know? Like you can feel if someone's vibing with you or not. Sometimes you can trick yourself, but for the most part, I think you can tell. I think everyone can tell.
Yeah.
Have you met many people this year on campus? How's that been going? Because I know
it's been good, man.
Yeah?
It's been good.
Because you don't need to. You got lots
don't
of
need
friends.
to. I've
You know
already
lots
got like a good foundation of friends, but
yeah.
I mean, a lot of people around you, you can't be friends with everyone, right?
Mhm.
Because a friend to everyone is a friend to no one.
Mhm.
I've kind of that really resonates with me, because if
I
you
like that one.
try to take everyone in, then you'll have people with all sorts of values that you don't agree with.
Yeah.
And sure, it's good to be open to different perspectives, but you need to cater people that align with your values, I find. What about you?
Yeah, it's like, because it's like if you find someone who's exactly like you, it's I'm sure you guys would get along, but it's the people who come in with different ideas, and it's more like the underlying principles. It's like, I think kindness goes a long way. You know, like someone can be atheist, they can be, you know, all these things, they can but as long as they're kind, it's like you guys can relate on that level. And there's other things too, like they're respectful, they're interesting, and or like hardworking. I find that's one where like say if someone's not built, you know, they're not super strong, but they're getting A's in every class, that's a different form of
Strength.
yeah, strength, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like the looks that someone has is no prediction for the type of person that they are inside. And very cliche, but don't judge a book by its cover. Certainly goes a long way when it comes to campus life, because you meet all these people, and the people that seem the smartest don't really apply themselves and end up getting C's, D's, but then the people that seem like they don't care are actually the ones with the 4.0. It's weird because you get all these different people with different interests, but then they're in the different programs. But then there are also kind of the stereotype for every single program, but then you get these outliers, and they're really interesting.
The outliers.
Yeah, it's like, how is this girl in comp sci? Like, that's just, you just never meet a girl in comp sci, you know, or this girl in engineering.
There's always one beautiful girl in engineering and comp sci, and you're like, how does she fit into this?
What gravitated her?
Yeah.
And she's in her third year too. She's not messing around.
Oh no, and
there's also guys that are in nursing, and it's dope, right? It's just they could be the manliest guys too, but they just gravitate towards that, and I just find that cool. I find that dope.
See, that's where stereotypes are bad.
Yeah,
not that there's a good place for them, but it's like you're gonna miss that outlier if you're, and that's the left and right? Because you're normally I wouldn't sit beside people who I don't think I'd click with. But if you always do that, then you'll miss the outliers, right? Of people of different groups and stuff. So
I know you have been on MacEwan for a couple of weeks now. And for those of you that don't know, Ethan was at the U of A for a couple of years.
2 years.
But he decided to jump ship.
Okay.
But yeah, man, what kind of motivated that switch?
Okay, so yeah, I guess I grew up in Hinton, Alberta, and that's right in front of Jasper. And it's like 10,000 people, I'm pretty sure. And I think it's a little more, that number's old, but so we're a pretty small town, and like my high school graduating class was, I think, 100 kids. So it's not like a village, you know, it's not that small, but it's like when I moved to the city and I went to U of A, it just like, you know, moving to the city already makes you feel small, because like in Hinton, I walk into the grocery store, I'm like, hey, you know, like it's like I know half the people in there, or at least of them. Whereas like in the city, walking on the streets, like unless you're on campus, and even at the U of A campus, it's hard to run into people because everyone's got their own faculty and different buildings, right? It's so spread out. But so I already felt small. And then going to that school where the classes are like up to 500, I think some of them have 500 seats in those auditoriums, was just a bit much. Like, so MacEwan is like more like 50 kids max. That's like, at least for what I've seen, all my classes, 40 kids, 30 kids. It's much more like personal. So I really appreciated that.
I find a lot of MacEwan students find their classes more personable, and they can easily make friends in those classes because they're structured like high school classes.
That's a big thing too, right?
And you get to know the people a lot more in depth. And if you're the type of person that doesn't put themselves out there, then MacEwan's definitely for you. But as for you, I think you're already pretty good at making friends on campus. Which,
that wasn't really the big, because I'm actually kind of sad to leave behind a few people,
because there's a lot of people know you on campus, man.
Yeah, I had a lot of people reach out to me, and they're like, "Oh, sad to see you go." And
dude, I was pretty struck, man. Yeah, but like when you had told me, I was grieving it, man. Like the times, the late nights of the 30 Pomodoro method
Well,
studying.
What's
the
Pomodoro?
30 and
Oh,
5s.
yeah.
Yeah. 30 minutes and 5 minutes break.
Tell them what that is. Oh yeah, well I guess you kind of just said it, but
Well,
that's a good one.
The Pomodoro method is just 30 minutes of studying and then 5 minutes break. And then you repeat that for 4 hours and it does
you lock in.
Does wonders.
And you need to do it with a buddy or else you won't hold yourself, like unless you're a very disciplined person, you won't hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Or you'll stay for an hour or something.
Yeah.
Like it's
on your phone for 20 minutes.
Yeah, the 5 minutes turns into 20. Yeah.
But yeah, bro, U of A will miss you. But I think
Local legend.
we'll just you'll just create more connections, and you tried U of A
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't for you. And now you're at McEwen.
Mhm.
So yeah, how are you liking the classes themselves?
Okay, so yeah, when at the U of A, like or it's not just the U of A, it's like the first and second year, they're so like non-specific. Like all your classes are like, it feels like high school because you're taking bio, you're taking math, you're taking statistics. Like obviously we didn't take statistics in high school, or maybe I don't remember that being a thing.
I never had statistics. Like it depends on which high school.
Okay, yeah, not in my high school at least. But like you have all these introductory courses, all these 100 levels, and it feels like they're just like, okay, this is what the course is gonna talk about. Here's like a couple example questions. Here's some basic info, and then you just never take the course again. And I guess it's to like subject you so you know what else you could get into. But my first year, I was just ready to do bio because that's what I'm signed up for. I was ready to learn about anatomy. I was ready to learn about cells, the functions of organs, or I guess it's anatomy, but like how life works. And I didn't really find like the only 2 bio classes, the one of them was just about what's it called? It's something system, and it's like canine, or humans is what's the one for humans? The 2 Latin words?
I don't know. Oh, Homo sapiens?
Homo sapiens.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just remembered. Like, I knew this. I read an entire book on it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like so that whole class was dedicated to learning about that system of naming, or at least not the whole class, but the majority of the class. And why would anyone need to know that or want to know that? It's not even the teacher said, she's like, this is like the best system we have, but it's not perfect. Like this isn't, it's not, because it's based on like evolution and stuff, how the lines work in evolution. And they don't know enough about evolution to actually verify that's true. I think it's based on DNA, but
yeah, that's what my buddy Bryce is telling me. He's telling me that there is no solid proof that evolution is fact.
Yeah, like you can look at like, obviously evolution is a real thing because of like, I'm not thinking about like monkeys and humans. I don't know about that. I haven't really been shown too much on that, so I can't speak on it, but you can see it like in Darwin's finches, like adaptation evolution. I don't know if you'd consider the adaptation a form, but like to me that seems like a form of evolution, right?
Yeah, no, it exists in that way, but going millions of years ago,
like cell to human, that's kind of, I think there's some gray areas along that.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, I think just university in itself too, you're not going to remember a great deal of what you'll learn, but it does show discipline. And I think that's kind of what they look for now. Like when you complete a degree, it's not going and being able to just regurgitate all these different bones and cells. If you're in the biosciences, or if you're in chemistry, you have, all these equations and kind of the formula for all these elements, powders that you can combine. And it's about handing it in on time, connecting with other people, and having a great experience on campus. And I think it's hard to do that. I know Eng kids will argue that they're just bombarded, but you can find other Eng kids. You guys could study together. And
which is sometimes the best times is getting together. Those little 5-minute intervals, we'd have
Yeah.
great little conversations in those 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Real
yeah,
deep,
like,
bro.
oh, sorry.
Real deep.
Real deep, right? Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
What core principles guide your everyday decisions, and how do you stay committed to living by them?
So I've been in this last year, me and my family have been studying the Bible. So we do okay. So I've been like at night, I just started actually reading the Bible, but we do like a study. So you learn the principles of the Bible. And like growing up, we were always Christian and then we kind of fell away. And I think that's lots of families now. You don't really see, like, there's been a step back from Christianity. And because I think people, I think it's been abused in the past. Like, you hear stuff about the priests and like,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother topic. But like people are taking a step away and we kind of did too. But in the last year, we're like, oh, something's missing. What's missing in our lives? And we started studying with our friends and it's been fantastic. Like, and so this year and when we started studying at the beginning of last year, I've really been trying to stick to the Bible principles to the best I can. And obviously I don't understand everything yet, but I take like the core ideas. Like, obviously there's basic things which I would never, don't kill. That's never, but like, it's more like be kind to your neighbor, like respect your elders, that kind of thing. Those basic cliches, they're said for a reason. So I've been trying to live by those more.
Yeah, I'm Christian. And a lot of people tell me, "Oh, have you heard about the priests and all this?" And yeah, I am Catholic too. I think that's just kind of the denomination that my family goes by. We go to the Catholic Church, and I think it's your relationship with God too. And how can you be in the service of other people? How can you bear the cross as Jesus had done for us? How can you add good to the world in a generative way? It's certainly something that I couldn't live without. I just I need that purpose to be able to undergo a lot of the immense feelings. I'm very sensory focused, and when it comes to my feelings, it's really enhanced by the texture of my imagination and thoughts. And if I didn't have God, if I didn't have this grand scheme of it all, I wouldn't be able to get up every day.
Well, I think, okay, so me and you are like two people who think about everything. We question everything. We ask, why is this? We like, even, you can tear everything down and turn it into a bad light. And I feel like the Bible is there to be like, set up. It's like, that's why they consider God a father, a shepherd, because he's like keeping you in line. He's not letting you close to that cliff edge where you don't want to get up in the morning. And you see lots of people who are like, they've fallen down that cliff and you're like, like, let God help you back up. I, yeah, like you need that ultimate knowledge that we don't have. So like, cause of course I question things in the Bible. I think everyone does. Everyone has their things. They're like, well, why is this? That doesn't make sense to me. And really, we don't even understand, like, when you're a little kid, or at least when I was a little kid, and you try to think about what God is, like, good luck, like,
Yeah, there's so many things that we
don't
don't
know.
understand.
Yeah.
We don't even understand how speech works. And sure, you have all these things in the brain that would explain it, like, oh, dopamine is the neurotransmitter for reward, so that encourages you to speak and to connect with other people. You go deeper in the brain, and it's the Broca's area that's in charge for speech. You go deeper than that, and there's all these blood vessels that provide oxygen to the brain to be able to keep you alive. And keep digging and digging. What you find is you actually don't know shit.
Right? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, where did that, like, you can just keep saying that. Where did that come from? And then you end up with this big white blank space or black space, like just nothing. And we don't know that, you can't
Yeah.
figure that out. I don't think we're ever going to figure it out because it's above our pay grade. And that's why you got to
Yeah.
have that faith and just accept that there's things you're not going to know. And that kills some people to, like, especially like scientists, like biologists, and, they've based their whole life on figuring things out, It's hard
Yeah,
for,
you need to be rational and you need to have evidence
Yeah.
to believe a certain thing. You need to actually see it and feel it for yourself in real time. But there's just so many things that I can't explain, miracles that I've witnessed. And you could just say, oh, maybe you've just added meaning to it. It's not that deep.
like what miracles?
Like being able to run 100K for me. Like, I think that's a miracle. Being able to
Us meeting in class. I find
meet
that
in class. I
that
think
feels
that's
like God
yeah. I
sent,
feel like being able to have this
Yeah.
podcast, being able to wake up today
Yeah.
and to be surrounded by people that I actually love, to be able to read, to write, everything I attribute it to God, and I've surrendered myself to his power. And when I do pray, I feel like I'm not alone,
Mhm.
that I could lose everything and I'd still have that higher power looking after me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing too, is you feel very cared for. Even like there's always someone, even it doesn't matter how big the problem is, you can take it up with someone who's greater than it all, right? I don't know if I can say someone, but yeah, he who is greater than all, right? You can tell him, I tell him, like, man, and when I pray, I don't know if I'm doing it exactly right, but I take up every problem with him and I talk to him like he's my good buddy. I'm like,
That's the way to do it.
yeah. And I try, recently I've tried to be, because lots of times I'm like, God, like, can you help me with this? And recently I've been trying to change my prayer, like change the light a little bit and be like, God, thank you for this. It's a very personal thing, and it creates that bond and it helps strengthen my belief. And I think God has helped me get through some tough times in life.
We're all flawed. I mean,
Yeah.
the only perfect human being is Jesus, right? And we can strive for perfection, but we'll always fall short. And a lot of people chastise themselves. A lot of people feel an immense amount of guilt, shame, and they let it consume them. They let it control them and dictate their lives. And I'm not saying, everybody should adopt God into their lives, because a lot of people just aren't like that. But I'd say there is meaning. And I hate nihilism. I hate cynicism. I hate people that say there's no meaning to anything.
It's whining, man.
Yeah, I think everything you do has meaning. And let's say we're wrong. There's no God. There's no heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And maybe that very well could be the case. But if you win everything. If you lose nothing.
And you still win because you lived a fulfilling life.
Yes.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. So
yeah,
like, to add meaning into everything, I've also heard a lot of people advocate for, okay, it's so also meaningless. Everybody's going to forget what you have ever done. So then just do everything to the very best that you could. But I think that's, for me, it's just so hard to grasp that people are just going to forget me 300 years later. And that is very true.
Yeah.
I mean, after 4 generations, we'll just be an Instagram page, or even our great grandparents didn't get that luxury. So we have that now. People can look back and go, yeah, this is Mr. Jahnke, your great grandfather, and then they'll play your song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
like, he was really trash. Hey? No. I'm
They'll
kidding.
be
I'm
listening
kidding.
to like
Mhm.
the genre will be so changed they'll
Yeah.
think I'm trash.
They'll
Yeah,
listen
for
to
sure.
this pod. They'll be like, whoa, they talk differently. But, but we're getting sidetracked. But like thinking about that, it's just sure, maybe, but then they'll forget about you and they'll just think you're just some foreign entity that they're related to, that they're in the same
Yeah.
bloodline. But I think you've done good to the world and you have influenced that generation. You know what I mean? Like maybe they derive inspiration from what you've done, the hard work that you put in, the love that you provided to your family, the sacrifices that you made for a better future. Generations later, you could very well be a great influence on their lives, but they'll have no idea. And I think thinking about that with my grandparents, my father, I know they went through a hell of a lot trying to raise me and trying to extend the family. And it's been a lot of addiction. It's been a lot of just crazy stories. But we never lose hope. Because without hope, man, it's
All
messy.
is lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get the point of legacy. I don't like I understand that I want my even like you want your kids to remember you. And then I want my grandkids to remember you because hopefully I was alive when they're around. And then maybe the generation after, but I don't get this need to be like, we look at statues, we look at Elvis, and it's like, wow, they did some great things. But I don't understand what that does, having your name in the stone. Like, what does that do? Like, do you have any insight on that? I don't get it.
They just
like,
why
do we want that?
People get the misconception that is love, but that's not love.
What's love?
People are just jealous.
Like getting remembered is love?
Yeah, that being famous and being a billionaire and having all these accolades seem to make you more connected with others. And sure, maybe people value you more. Maybe people are starstruck and they want to be you. But that doesn't necessarily mean they love you. You know what I mean? That your family loves you. Like your brothers and your grandparents.
That's what matters, right there.
That's what matters.
Yeah,
that's what I
matters.
want to be like on my obituary. I want it to say he was a kind, loving person to the people that he loved, and even to the people he surrounded himself with. But a lot of people seem to think that to succeed in life is to have all these great achievements, when that's not.
You can't take it with you. I think
you can't take it with you.
I think they get this, like, they feel like by living in memories of like the generations to come, it's like this sense of immortality and not wanting to die. I think that's what it's linked to, is people don't want to die and they feel like they're living on through that. But for me, I don't have that want to be remembered forever. You know what I mean? Like I want to be remembered by those who I actually impacted and who loved me. And like, because I'm sure you have someone in your life who's deceased, and anytime you have a family get together, they all talk about that person and they have stories to tell, and they're like, oh, good old George, good man, he's actually the one who helped us get this house, like they just got all these things to say about him. That's what I care about. I don't get the fame or the well, I get it, but like I get what people want, but I just don't think there's any value in that.
Just because Joe Rogan has said it, well, people, just because it's difficult to acquire doesn't mean it's worth having.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's hard to get doesn't mean that it is of value to you. You see this Lamborghini. Is that really going to make you feel whole? You have this business worth millions. Is that going to make you a better son, a better partner, a better father? Probably not. I mean, maybe it'll make life easier because maybe you'll be wealthier because you'll have access to that. But wealth is not in having great possessions. It's in wanting few.
Mm-hmm.
Epictetus has said that, and this is from thousands of years ago, but it rings true. And a lot of what I've learned is throughout history, there's all these lessons that people derive, and it's the same pattern. If you look hard enough, you'll see it in the Bible. The people dig themselves a hole, and they're the ones to be their own demise because they push people away, because they get so focused with money, they forget what truly matters.
Yeah. Yeah. You can, there's, if you're not living a good life, you're not accomplishing the goals in your life, like you said, being a good son, you're not accomplishing that. You're a runaway. You talk disrespectfully to your parents and stuff. Then there's got to be something else, because everyone's goal driven in life. Like, even if you're a slob and you don't have any goals, you still have mini goals. They might just not be the traditional goals that everyone puts value in. So you need to have other goals to pursue if you're not doing that goal of being a good son. And I think that's what just a bunch of I don't know, like the devil's catnip, like it's just all these things that you can achieve, but is there any merit? You need to think about that, everything in life. And I question everything in my life all the time, and I'm like, is this worth it? What am I going to get in the end? Like, what are my intentions here? Read your own intentions. And is it greed? Is it lust? Is it, there's lots of bad intentions. You got to check yourself.
Yeah, I check myself all the time. I mean, even this podcast, man, I made it my identity for a little bit, and
Yeah.
anytime kind of the downloads would go low, it would be a hit on me.
It would be, crushing.
Yeah,
Me.
and I'm sure you experience this with music as well.
Thing, man.
Just
Yeah.
like, because you put in so much time and effort,
Mhm.
and you're so passionate about it, you forget why you even started in the first place.
Yeah, like this isn't part. Yeah, you can't make it your identity. It's not part of the fundamental things that are actually important. This is a good, this is something worth pursuing. Like, I'm not saying those things aren't worth it, because I think it's really good to have these, a passion and an art. This is an art, what you're doing right now.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's a form, just like a dance, I say, kind of conversation.
Yeah. Gotta be quick on your feet, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember I checked my views. It's you get up really on Apple Music, you can see how many views you had in the last week. And I checked for my country song I put out, and it had 2 views. Just because it was like a soft launch, I think I put it on my Instagram story, and that was it. But I was just like, before it was like 50 a week. And then just to see that 2 up there, I was like, it was like, I shouldn't have taken it personally, but I was like, it affected me a little bit. I was like, oh
yeah, no, I
sucks.
I see some downloads sometimes in the pod, and last week it was 100, now it's 80, and it's
going down.
It's a big hit, but reframing it into having low expectations,
that's the thing,
is
right?
liberating.
Mm-hmm.
The way I have reframed it for me to be able to keep going with this, just one person listening to it. And I had even said that in the past. That's my intention. It's just the constant reminder. One person listening to it and deriving value, then I'm happy. And even that one person could be the guest, that the episode itself could be the reward, that I've connected with someone. Or like for your music, the fact that you wrote it, produced it, and now it's there, it's instilled in history. And to add all these different metrics takes the joy out of it.
I liked what you said. You told me before, you're like, basically, I'm paraphrasing, but you're like, if your goal is to get famous, then you're not enjoying your art. Something like that. You've said that
if
that
you
can't be the goal.
you have to enjoy the progress because the reward is only 1%.
Mm-hmm.
If you focus on, it's gonna be so cool once they all recognize me, and it's when somebody does recognize you, it's like a brief interaction. It's like, hey man, good job, I really like your music, or listen to your pod, or maybe you win a trophy for that game. You work really hard for that sport. Maybe you get into the Olympics, you're on there on the podium with the trophy, you're literally number 1 in the world. But if you've been envisioning that the whole time,
you missed the trip. It's over.
You missed the journey. Was 99% of it. You're telling me you're miserable for a majority of your time? You just subjected yourself to pain and suffering just so you could have 10 seconds of bliss on the podium? You missed the point. You're sucking the joy out of life.
And I don't think, well, I guess it depends, but I don't think you're going to win that way either, because it's a fake persona. This is not the real you who wanted to do this in the beginning. This is the you that's interested in the fame. It's not the passion's gone. It's the passion for the fame, not for the art anymore.
Yeah. And Jim Carrey had said that, I wish everyone got what they wanted. I wish everyone achieved everything that they ever dreamed of. Something like that. It's paraphrased. To know that it's not the answer.
Yeah, I think it's like, I wish everyone could get famous so they know what fame is like something like that, right?
Yeah,
so
like if you want to be famous, if you want to have the wealth, all your ambitions right now, for the majority of people, it's usually wealth, status, kind of prestige.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of actors, a lot of high profile people talk about once they're at the top, it's miserable. Right?
What do you think of Jim Carrey now? Like, have you seen clips of him?
He's out there. He's a big advocate for like mental health, and he seems like a dope guy.
Kind of hard though, because I miss that fake Jim Carrey, because his movies were so good, and he's just so like, now we got the real Jim Carrey, and it's like, I don't know, that bubble like is old, hilarious,
now
like
envisioning
goofy
it, he was not happy being in those, being in the top of the world, being like the actor, being in the Truman Show. And that was a great movie.
I don't like that movie.
No, you don't?
No.
It's being
weird.
recorded, man.
What?
Dude, like, what if you just found out that
you're being
this entire thing, all your parents, you're just an actor, or they were all actors, and Hinton was apparently just like a massive.
I'd be flattered, man. People are that interested in my, but no, it's like, like it almost feels like mosquitoes, and we're just sucking the joy from Jim Carrey. Like, we're taking, he's giving out everything he's got, and I'm just eating it up, man. And it feels like it's not like, I don't know, it's not as much fun watching his shows now, knowing that he was depressed the whole time.
That he endured all that he's not really enjoying it as much.
Yeah,
because he's been vocal about when he was at the top, it didn't solve anything. It didn't fill the void in his heart, and it's always been something that really perplexed me too, is Robin Williams and the Kurt Cobain Nirvana guy, that chef who traveled the world, they all committed suicide. Oh man,
there's too many. Like, we can't even list it. Yeah.
There's even some of my friends, some of their family members, and it's so disheartening. Some of them, majority of them are living amazing lives, and it's just,
and seem happy. They're good actors.
Yeah. That's why I'm always making it to a habit to just be genuine to people and actually ask them how they're doing, because you never know what the texture of their imagination is like.
Yeah, men's mental health.
Yeah, man.
I like it. Well, and women's,
and women's. Yeah, everyone's mental health.
Yeah, everyone's mental health. I used to find that kind of corny when I was younger. Like, Bell would always advertise that.
Yeah,
it was a Snapchat filter. Bell, men's mental health, and it's like, I just thought it was one of those like things, you know, like it just felt like a national pizza day. You know, to me, I was like, what is this? But I actually get like why that has to be a thing now. It's important to check in on people.
For the longest time, I didn't really take mental health seriously because I didn't really see it in myself. I didn't experience it firsthand. I just felt,
Yeah, it seemed like a weakness to me.
yeah,
Like
I
it's
was like,
like,
yeah, if you're sad, just get over it.
yeah, get
Just-
happy, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go hit the gym. Go
Yeah.
read a book. Go spend some time with your friends.
Yeah,
do
go do
something.
some, yeah.
But then I've realized now from talking to people and
People at the gym.
yeah,
Yeah.
people at the gym, people on campus, just everywhere, that
Where they seem like they should be doing good. You know,
life
they're-
is a lot more complex.
Yeah.
And some people would just have deep depression that they
Mhm.
cannot solve alone. How do you navigate challenges or temptations that could lead you away from your values, especially as a university student?
Okay. How do I? Okay, so you know, university. It's like we've all seen the movies that it's more of an American thing, like the fraternities and stuff. But like people, everyone's expecting to go party once they're at university, and I've done my fair share of partying. I've been to all the cool bars in the city. You know, I've done.
Cook County?
Yeah, Cook County. Yeah, Cook County. But yeah, Cook County when it was still cool. No
Yeah.
longer. But anyways, but yeah, and like certainly it's like good to get out of the house. You know, if it's Saturday and you're inside and you're like if you're inside and you're taking a good R&R day, you're reading a book and you're in the tub, or I don't know what people, I don't have a tub, but you know, you're relaxing, or it's like you're like, do you know what I need this day? It's my day off. I don't want to think about school, then good for you. But like if you're in the house and you're just sitting there being a slump and you're just watching Netflix or something, it's like maybe next Saturday, make some plans. You know, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Why don't you have a wine night with your friend? Why don't you go to the movies? I don't know. Like it's like it's about getting out of the house, and there's definitely good ways to spend your Saturdays that are like, here's the thing, if you're gonna start changing your life around, you know, you tell yourself, okay, I want to go out less. It's like, what are you gonna do then? You know? Because you don't want to just because you took something bad out of your life doesn't mean you're doing something good now. You know, you gotta. Well, I guess it's good to take the bad thing out.
Okay,
but
so
you need to replace it.
there's these different temptations in your life, and by just getting rid of it doesn't mean you've solved the problem.
Yeah.
Like if you have a problem with going out too much, then are you just gonna isolate yourself in your house? Like there's all these different temptations, but once you get rid of them, how are you gonna fill that time? Are you
Mhm.
just gonna replace it with something worse? Did I absorb that correctly?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Perfect. It's like if I wanted to stop going out as much, I started going to EVP. It's like volleyball, and I'd have a better time than going out. And I know that's like corny because people are like, well, I have an amazing time going out. No, I'm serious. I get the same like dopamine hit from going to volleyball, because it's like that's a really good place to go to. It's like so social and get your heartbeat going. You know, it's competitive, not super competitive, but yeah, and that applies to everything. You know, if you want to quit, I don't know, I don't vape, but if you want to quit vaping, then you got to pick up something else that like you can do when you get those cravings.
Yeah. Certainly with being a university student too, you're heavily influenced on that. A lot of bad vices.
Mhm.
And you need to find what's good for you and to align it with who you truly are, because you could really stray away from your values of discipline, of patience and compassion when you fall into the wrong crowd. And it's okay, if you do ditch that crowd, how are you going to make new friends and establishing a left and right method, and going to clubs that do speak to your heart? And on the days off, right, do you have an outlet like volleyball, like going to the gym? Like you gotta there's all these different routes that you could take. What's right for you? And an important question I've been implementing, I get this from this my favorite podcaster, Chris Williamson. It's, what would you tomorrow want you today to do? Because we all experience that regret. Okay. Oh, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. And if I could just go back in time, which you can't, then you could, but you can't. And then you repeat the same mistake next week.
Yeah.
And then the week after. Next thing you know, you're calling yourself names and you just you dig a deeper hole. And yeah, it's being able to stretch it out and have a plan.
Yeah, that's funny because like I've been thinking about recently too, is like that's like the person I'm most afraid of is my future self. Because I know how he can beat up my past self, you know? Like I hate when I get to that point and I've realized that past self was just so hedonistic, you know? Like he just, yeah, and then people say like, you know, mental health, be nice to yourself. Sometimes you got to be a dick to yourself, you know? Like you got to show yourself who's boss, man. And like and I think people who really struggle with that is people who never change. They're just in this cycle of, you know, like you said, that they just do it same thing next week. And then they seek out other things. It's like, you know, they seek out how to forgive themselves, which is important. You know, you can't hold it against yourself forever. But it's like you should be seeking out God, man. Like go for it. You know, like seek out something better. Start going to the gym, you know, like
Something more than yourself, something more than the physical.
yeah.
Because people obsess about looks and obsessed about if they're famous and obsess about
Everything.
money, when no, like do something that is actually of value to society, be in service to other people and provide good to the world instead of just thinking so much about yourself. Because a lot of people seem to think that they're the main character. They're not. Like once you realize that you're not going to live forever and you're not that special, it's liberating.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man, it's even like I didn't think I had an ego. And I like I don't have an ego in the traditional way, but I realized some of my thinking was egotistical.
Yeah.
And I've been working on trying to knock myself down, you know, like that main character thing is true. And I got a really good so this lady who was on Jordan Peterson, I can't remember her name, but she said that as long as you make God happy, then everything else, like there's no one else you need to impress. That is strong right
That's
there.
strong.
That's crazy.
And I think for me,
That's a
it's
good
like
one.
that ego, it's kind of like turning the knob for me. I'm like, oh, is that enough? Is that like having no ego
Yeah.
is now good too? Because you
Yeah.
need to be able to,
The balance,
to
right?
balance it.
Yeah.
But like having it too loud and it's just, yeah, it's a catastrophe. All right. Have your principles evolved over time? If so, what experiences have influenced your growth?
What do you mean evolved?
Like maybe when first year you maybe valued authenticity more.
Oh, okay.
Maybe second year you kind of, okay, maybe just compassion is more of, as really with when you talk about values and virtues, it's really vague, right? But when you think about it, like they're every year changes and you gravitate towards certain people and certain ideas. Now, is there something that happened to have reinforced or changed your mind?
Changed my mind. Oh, I would say I've learned. Yes. Well, I'm a really nice guy. Always been a nice guy. And it was kind of hard for me to learn how to like not be, I don't know, people see niceness and it kind of freaks them out because they're like, what's this guy up to? You know, what's he want? People are used to like salesmen being overly nice, you know, they're used to the wrong people being really nice. So I had to dial that back a bit, which is like good either way, you know, as long as you're, you know, being overly nice is fine. But, and then I think I took a bit of not being friendly like to people. And I've had the kind of find the middle ground, you know, everything's a balance. And there's a few things in my life like that, like compassion too. It's really like compassion is a really good thing until you find compassion in someone who doesn't deserve it, someone who's, you can be tricked into having compassion for people. And then I'm trying to think of I can't think of an example.
I gotta read you this this verse.
Let's hear it.
And being aware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, or I meant to say, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves.
Mhm.
Matthew 7:15.
Deadly. That's a good one.
Like, yeah, people's intentions aren't as clear.
Yeah.
Because they can be very nice to them, but then they might just think of you as somebody that they can step all over.
Yeah,
that they
right.
can
See, that's what I'm trying to move
talk
away
shit
from.
about.
Yeah.
But then being overly stoic and being
Stone-faced.
and can't you come off standoffish, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to be around that. So
Yeah.
I think for me, I think it's just showing that I am gonna be as kind as possible and give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
But then as soon as they cross the boundaries, you warn them and you
stick up for yourself.
stick up for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't just put up with it. Somebody's called you a name or is treating you differently in the group, making you the clown, and you really know when it's just a joke. For some people, you can tell that it's aggression. And it depends how good of friends you guys are. Like if you guys just met and they're already making jokes to put you down in front of other people who you barely know as well, like, okay, maybe
Yeah. That
But-
stuff's you gotta read the room with that, because people, so you don't want to get bullied, or not bullied, but you don't want to get like be the butt of every joke. Like you don't want to be that friend in the friend group, right?
yeah.
You also don't want to be a spaz and be like, can't take a joke, right? It's all balance. Crazy.
Well, not being able to laugh at the jokes, right, when they're directed at you, do alleviate a lot of the kind of the tension, and you become less of a target because
You're a
when
good
you
sport.
when you're a good sport about it. But then also being able to
Yeah.
oh,
Show
hey,
them
this
when
is enough, or maybe take that person aside next time, like, hey, I get that you're just trying to be funny, but do we have a problem?
Yes, and that's the thing with being too nice, is like if you're so nice that you are scared to offend them by telling them, like that's a funny one, is that you're being so nice that they've offended you, but you're too scared to offend them by saying they offended you. Like that's ridiculous. That's too nice. So I've been trying to draw back from that. And a more recent one I've been working on is I think about and it goes back with that quote I said before about that, like, as long as God's happy, that's,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what other people think. And, I realize I put too much emphasis on how other people see me, other people that I won't ever see in my life. Like the 30 people in my class, I care about what each one of them thinks about me and how I'm being presented. And that's good to an extent. Like you don't want to show up in your sweatpants, and because that's when it's good to think about, like, what are people going to think about this image I'm portraying? But you also don't want to be like, you come out of class and you had a little piece of food on your face or a crumb or something, and you're like, oh no, what are people going to think of me? That's when it doesn't matter, That's a balance too, is like you don't want to overly care, but you want to care enough that you're hitting some of the societal standards that I respect.
I say when you show up to an event, if you're just yourself.
What if yourself's not good? What if you suck? What do you think about that?
Yeah, you know that. You know that you're
Yeah,
hateful,
some
resentful.
self-awareness.
I don't think people are oblivious to the fact that they're hurting other people. If as long as you're not hurting other people, then you're fine.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you're changing yourself to accommodate other people, then you're not in the correct crowd. If you're wanting to get into lifting, even though you hate it, detest it, it's the last thing you want to do, and you're doing it just for other people, if you show up to campus, if you want to learn, if you do it for them, then you detach yourself from the connection you have with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you're going to burn out easier and you won't be able to go through the hardship and it won't be rewarding. It feels daunting to be able to get rid of your friends who maybe you don't feel truly connected with them. Maybe their jokes aren't as funny. You laugh along with them. Maybe you want to go deeper, but they just can't. But there's this I listened to again Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozy where they talk about this lonely chapter, and when this is when a person experiences that their surroundings are not beneficial for them. They don't feel connected. They do not feel that these people around them are uplifting them in a positive light. And they want to start hitting the gym. They want to maybe start asking the deeper questions. They lose all their friends. And a lot of them get mad about it because, hey, where are you now? You're not coming to the bars. You've changed. You're
You're
boring.
growing, yeah.
But staying true to yourself, whatever that means, and continuously asking the questions. And you had mentioned, oh, what if you're a bad person? You'll know. Look in the mirror, look within. Are you carrying all these grudges from all these years? Is it really doing you any benefit? If you just like follow the truth in your heart, you'll derive a great deal of answers.
I heard this thing. It's the Jordan Peterson thing, and he's like, the way you find out yourself, the way you should judge yourself is as a judge and a jury. You take in all the evidence, like say you had an awkward interaction, you're trying to figure out if it was you or them. And you say, so first you put up a defense for yourself, which lots of people don't do. Like the type of people that don't do this are really hard on themselves. They don't give themselves their own defense. Like, okay, maybe I said this one thing, but the rest was pretty good. I was friendly and I was normal, and then you go on the opposite and you say, okay, what could I have done differently? That's how you get an accurate estimate. You don't go on one year like, no, it was him, or no, it was me. And what you were saying about the friendship thing, it's like if you put up a fake face and you make friends using that fake face, they're friends with that face, not your own. They don't even know who that is. And if you're too scared to show it to them, then that's no friend at all. And we've talked about like the types of friends who drain your energy versus the types that give you energy. And someone's draining your energy, I don't know if that's a good match either, because you're working so hard to constantly, and lots of times that comes up from putting up what is it, facade?
Facade, yeah.
Facade. Lots of times it comes from putting up this facade. It takes so much energy to keep impressing them, walking on tippy toes, whereas you I can be more comfortable with. I don't have to, like, I think we agree on a lot, but if there's something we don't agree on, I don't have to not be able to say it. I can be myself.
The two most helpful questions for when you want to know when someone is a quality friend is, do you have a filter around that friend? And can you sit with them in awkward silence?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, I listen to all his podcasts. This is Chris
The Chris Williams.
Williamson. I love
What's his
him.
podcast?
What's that?
What podcast is it?
Modern Wisdom. That's him. Yeah, British
yeah.
guy, and he's really funny too. And he goes really deep.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's obsessed about evolutionary psychology too, and kind of how to look for friends. And
Talks about.
he's really honest,
Mhm.
vulnerable, and tough. He's a gym guy. But yeah, man, it weighs down on your soul to put up this front. That's not who you are.
No.
And when you go your entire life and when you think that, oh, this is the answer for them to finally like me, I'm going to construct this entire new person. And then you go home and those people don't know you.
And it's lonely. That's a very lonely life.
That's crushing, because you want to say that thing, but then they're like, oh, they probably find that funny. I'll just say the safe route.
Yeah.
Where they find it funny. And it's just, there's so much more cognitive effort into that.
Well, that's what I liked about you in Jamoke's class is your jokes, man. The jokes no one would laugh. You're just being yourself though, but like, damn, there was some bricks and
yeah, man. I looked at the audience after making a bunch of just killer jokes. And yeah, they just weren't having it.
No, they did not find you funny at all.
I really respect the people that prioritize the truth.
Yeah.
That's why you ever heard of Sean Strickland?
Yeah.
MMA guy.
I like that guy.
Like he's very standoffish. He may come off as a bully, and but he just runs his mouth. He says what's on his mind.
No one's controlling that mouth, man.
Yeah. And that's where with people you don't have to second guess what's coming out of their mouth. You just, hey, that's Ethan. He believes that.
Yeah.
And there's no hidden agenda.
Mm-hmm.
He tells the truth. He's not going to lie to me.
Oh, it's way easier to make friends with someone like that, because friends faster, especially because there's nothing to worry about. You know who this is, and it's like, and you may not like everything you see, but at least it's the truth, man. The lies and dishonesty, like a lie itself is really gross when you look at it. You know what I mean? When you see, you've seen someone, I don't know what
it's messy.
It's gross.
Like,
yeah,
it's not a good,
especially about little things. I can't stand people lying about little things. Like you hear someone, like, have you ever had this situation where you were with someone and then you hear them telling the story over again and you're like, that's not how it happened. It's like you just see they're putting up a face and you feel bad for them that they have to put in all this effort to make their story sound. And there's like, I'm not saying people who just exaggerate. I'm talking about people who lie. Yeah, it's an insecurity. Yeah, it's hard to make friends with people who lie.
I do catch myself sometimes where I'll exaggerate the
everyone
story,
does that,
and
though.
even I'd still think that's a lie because it's not the truth.
Yeah, that's a tough one though, right?
Yeah, but you could say, oh, you're just adding more color to it, kind of making it more appealing. But then again, is that the full truth? You could still kind of argue that out, but I find myself maybe adding more intensity to my when people asking me about my workout routine, or when it comes to just learning, and I'll put up this just to be more liked, and I catch myself and I'm like, wow, that was not me. You know?
Yeah,
that was out of insecurity. I said that thing to get more praise. But then if I didn't say that thing, it's not like they'd like me any less. It's just your brain's way of, when you're aware of yourself, like you can really, and you stop yourself before it gets too late and you end up becoming a compulsive liar. Certainly you're on the right path, because everyone lies. I think that's, cliche as that sounds, a lot of, like, we all do.
Yeah.
But because there's also people that believe something even though they know it's a lie, and they repeat it to themselves so much that they end up believing it's true, even though it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But they started off thinking that it was a lie, but they repeated it so much in their heads that is now the truth.
But you can warp reality.
Yes.
That's the thing about small lies is they turn into big lies because you're entering this world where you can bend everything to your will. You know, like it's like and saving these minor inconveniences. You know, you walk in late to class and the teacher says, "Why were you late?" And you say, "Oh, you know, the bus wasn't running." Like or I don't know. Yeah, the bus wasn't running. Whereas really you just got out of bed too late. It's like now you've created this situation where it got you out of a pinch, right? You don't get in trouble or you don't people like but the problem with that is like I don't know, you're not being true to yourself and whose reality is that now, right?
Yeah. And it can also get, if you expand that, if a friend were to ask you why you're late,
Now do you keep up the lie?
yeah, it rewarded you when it came to your professors and exams.
Yeah.
Why is this any different? Right? Okay, maybe it's your friend, you don't want to do that, but let's say you just insert that and you say, "Oh, because I stayed up 2 hours and now I'm only on 4 hours of sleep. I wasn't able to be here on time." And then you got a bad reaction from your friend. So next time you are in that same situation, but you lie this time and it's a better outcome. So then you think, "Oh, this is good. I can just lie to get myself out of this situation."
There's so many times it would help to lie.
Yeah, no, but what ends up happening, you do it so much. How do you know what's coming out of your mouth is real now? Okay, and then when you go and look back in how can you trust yourself? You're not able to trust yourself anymore because you don't, like, you've made that lie up, and then when you do it so much, you end up believing it. But then when that friend ultimately finds out, which does happen often,
they run through back every conversation and they're like, "Did he lie?" I had this happen to me in high school. I was young here, but I had a friend who lied all the time, and I didn't know. But once I figured out, I started questioning. I was really silly for believing some of these stories, but I don't lie. Like I try my best in this world not to lie, so I don't expect other people to. That's another thing that I've had to learn is that this Edmonton and the world wants to swallow you. You know, they want to kill you. The world is evil, you know? Like there's good in the world, but lots of people lie and people you don't expect, and lots of people you don't expect do cocaine, and lots of like everyone's got their own little bad things in their life, bad vices. But I don't know, yeah, you run back and think about everything that friend said and it does something bad to yourself. Now I haven't really put my finger on it here, but there's something terrible about lying that I can't, I don't know. What do you think it is? Like, what do you think is so bad about, because like really,
well,
like
it's betrayal.
Yeah, but what does it matter? Betrayal to yourself. Like, I don't think we put our finger on why it's so bad for yourself. But there is a reason. I just don't, I can't.
Or you're like people lying to you, or you lying
You
to other
lying,
people?
like it's bad if people figure it out. Well, why is it bad to yourself for you to lie? You know? Why is it bad to bend the reality like that?
Because when you do that,
Maybe you know you're phony. You know, it's bad to think of yourself because you check yourself and you know you're phony.
well, it's insecure, and it says, "Hey, I am unhappy with my reality, so I'm gonna make up this persona without doing the actual work."
Yes. You're running away from your fears
Yeah,
by doing that. You can't face up to the fact that your professor might get annoyed with you. And you can't face up to the fact that you actually weren't on time. You know what I mean? Like you weren't prepared enough. You
It's
hit
no
the alarm
accountability.
snooze. Yeah,
And
no
it's-
accountability.
if you ask your buddy and maybe you guys made plans of going to the gym for a year straight, and you for a month straight they didn't end up going, and then you ask them, have they been going, and they tell you, yeah, I've been going, but there you have proof from their brother or something that they haven't been going. Well, yeah, there's the consequence of you just not believing them, because it's really easy to destroy trust
And your reputation.
and your reputation, but
Yeah.
it's so hard, unbelievably hard to build trust and connection. And then, yeah, going back to the person lying, they are insecure and they can't face the fact that they have done something wrong, and that lack of accountability ruins relationships. That lack of accountability is terrible for connection.
Yeah, that's with the whole putting up the face thing. Man, and not to sound like an old man, but that's the problem with this world. Not enough accountability, man. There's too much like forgiving yourself, too much like mental health. Like mental health is a very important thing, but like there's lots of people who are like advocating for all that stuff. And it's like, no, the reason you're upset and the reason you're depressed is because you're not holding yourself to any accountability. And no wonder that your life is not going the way you want. Because everyone knows, even and you're doing a lot. You're very excited to go see you run the 160K.
Yeah, I know. Get
on
Ryan
the
in there.
21st. Yeah. Still
Yeah.
gotta ask him. But yeah, like you could be doing more. And that is so freaking scary to people. Like that keeps me up sometimes at night. Everyone, even though we're stand-up guys, and not to toot our own horn, but I think we do a lot of good and we could be doing better. Like and then I just think if you're starting down in your life, you haven't been doing lots of things right. That's scary to face up to the fact that what if you had been doing things right, where your life could be? And then that's when you need the mental health stuff, because you don't know any other way to fix that, because it would take too much work. It's easier to just say, okay, I lost. Let's just keep living, you know?
Yeah. Who could you truly be? And
Yeah.
they said true hell is when present you meets the person you could have been.
That's a cold day, man. That's a scary day.
It's like when you meet Ethan.
Yeah.
Maybe you're 30.
Yeah.
And then you meet and he's just done everything. He's done everything he could have wanted, worked extremely hard. Then there's the version of you who just was lazy and didn't really take life seriously, just played video games, didn't complete the degree, didn't do the things that you had truly wanted to do. You lied to the people you love, you pushed other people away, you didn't answer the phone calls. You look at that and you go, I could have been that. I could have been that. And I think
that's hell right there for sure.
Yeah.
And I think those are the people like obviously maybe I did something, but usually in the left and right method, those are the people sitting behind us that didn't want to sit with us anymore, because they're like, I don't like how this guy's a go-getter. That really makes me feel bad, you know? Like,
I think a lot of people when they see
ambition,
someone who's ambitious and they accept themselves for who they truly are,
confidence, right?
Confidence.
Yeah, I hate
they like when I'm annoyed at people, and it's been happening frequently.
Yeah,
I ask myself, is this because I see something in that person that I see in myself?
Yeah, right.
Like, what are they actually doing that's annoying me? If it's nothing of disrespect, then it's probably has something to do with me.
Or it's something that you want, because like lots of times in class, when people raise their hands and then they get the wrong answer, and I know I take too much joy in that, and I think it's because I'm a little bit afraid of raising my hand in class. I don't want to look dumb ever, And I'm like, oh, that's what you get. That's what happens when you raise your hand.
bro.
You know, it's because it's something I want to do.
When I see that, when I come up and talk to people,
Yeah.
and maybe I haven't seen them in a while, ran into this guy and we hadn't seen each other in a while. And when they seem nervous and when they stutter a little bit and they're not as concise and they're not succinct and it shows insecurity,
Yeah.
it annoys me. Like, why
That
are you
annoys you.
why are you insecure? Why are you acting like this? You don't have to act like this. You can just talk to me properly,
Mhm.
like a responsible, confident adult. And it's because I've been there. And it's because I see that in myself sometimes when I'm talking to people and I feel this ambient feeling that I shouldn't be saying this and that I'm not confident. And it's just a mirror. You know, I see that and I'm like, stop being like that. It's because I'm scared to be like that. That's why it annoys me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah,
You want
like, or
to
when people
kick that
make
little
excuses, like, oh, this and this, it's because I make excuses all the time.
guy.
And yeah, it's annoying because I'm like, not only do I want to see that person be better, but I also see that I'm just like them. Like,
which is hard to. That's another thing that's hard to face up to is like that's the face of what you've been doing. They're like, no more denying it. It's right in front of you. This person is doing what you're doing. It's gross to see. Like, you don't want to look at that. You're like, get out of here. You know, you suck.
yeah.
It's scary to face up to things. You gotta fight your dragons.
But bro, looking within is unbelievably
you still meditate?
difficult. Yes.
How often? And do you count prayer as meditation?
I pray and meditate.
Okay, so you got a little bit of both.
I don't count prayer as meditation. Well, it is a form of meditation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to meditate twice a day. I journal and
What do you think about when you meditate?
Just focus on my breath. Because I think
really? Do you have thoughts going, or do you doing like the
I used to do the
stuff?
I did 21 days of all these different meditations. And
okay.
There's a lot. There's a lot of meditations out there. There's meditations where you focus on the third person view, where you just like close your eyes and you think that you're looking at yourself from the ceiling.
Okay.
That one's really good too, but
that's interesting. Like,
I just find it gets really complicated. I just
it's supposed to be relaxing and meditating.
Yeah. I just find that focusing on your breath.
Yeah.
Because we're just bombarded with thoughts, man. I find, especially with you and I, we like to think, right? We like to ask questions, and that Socratic method of, is that really what it is? Like,
you never know the right answer.
Yeah, did that person who said that one word to me, can I trust them? And we're like bouncing on and off, and then the thought goes into, am I doing well in life? How's my relationship with my mom? Is that, I gotta call her. I need to study for that.
That's good.
Yeah, there's that job. Yeah, I need to apply for that. Should I be a bartender again? No, there's an opportunity.
All those thoughts, right?
Yeah, I got a friend over there. Oh yeah, I gotta start reading. There's all these thoughts, and a lot of people can't shut it off. And I feel like just shutting it off and going, okay, I'm just gonna focus on the moment right now.
Control your breathing.
Yeah.
And live in the, man, that's what anxious people need to do. You got anxiety? Go meditate, because it's like, and shut your brain off, because you need that moment of relaxation. And I also want to say on people who are trying to fix themselves, like if you are that person, you got something in your life and you're having trouble trying to get a hold of it, and because you know what you want to do in life for the most part, like obviously there's gray areas, but you know what you want to do, you just can't do it. You don't have the discipline, right? So, for example, me and my mom, we're on this diet right now. It's not, I don't even know if I can call it a diet, because I haven't really changed. All it is Monday to Friday, no sweets, no Coke, no Pepsi, like nothing. I don't drink anything carbonated Monday to Friday. Maybe those bubblies. I don't really like those, but And then no, like after dinner, if you want something after dinner, it's got to be like a strawberry or I don't know. Like you can still eat however you want. It's just like cut out all the sweets and treats, right? And man, this has changed my life. Like, okay, I wouldn't go that
Really?
far, but it's been I can't believe how disciplined it's made me in other aspects of my life too. Like it's just like Jordan Peterson's thing on making your bed every morning. It's like this little bit of diet is one of the things, not for everyone, but diet is one of the things you can control in your life, And to have power over that is very fulfilling. Like, and it's crazy. I'm so used to just having sweets all the time. And I had really bad cravings at the beginning. But it's so achievable because it's not going cold turkey on something and saying I can't do this forever. It's like, okay, Saturday and Sunday you can. And the really cool thing is now Saturday, Sunday, I don't even think about it. Like I just have no desire for treats. It's such a funny thing to be going on about, but it's like the discipline in that has made me more disciplined at the gym because I'm not so groggy from getting home after school and having like, I don't know what I eat, but something sweet, not having a 40 grams of sugar in my Pepsi with dinner and then feeling real lethargic after, it's like, no, you are strong enough. Everyone is strong enough to control themselves that much,
Yeah, there's
Kind of a
this
rant,
part
but
in Power of Habits by Charles Duhigg, and
Ooh.
they're called keystone habits, and it's like a little habit that you change in your life that can create ripple effects, which
Yeah.
ultimately
Yes.
flood into
Something
your
great.
other sectors, whether it be about studying, whether it be about working out more, even being more conscientious with washing the dishes. Because you had established this rule of no candy, no sweets from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
It opens you up more to, okay, since I'm going to do that, I might as well replace that with something healthier, an apple, a
Yeah.
banana. And then once you do that, yeah, I have more energy, so I might as well hit the gym more. And then you hit the gym more, you feel great, you do some cardio, hit some weights, you connect with the people there. They're in the same grind of eating healthy. You come home, you feel better, you talk to your brother,
You
you
go
ask
study.
him, yeah, you study more. Oh, I got time, I got more energy to read a book.
Yeah.
You start reading a book, you have this idea in that book about how to improve your life. You take that to your dad, you talk about it with your dad, and then you're like, oh, like sleep is pretty cool. So then there's all these things that just make your life better. But the inverse is also true. Yeah, I drank last night. I feel awful. I might as well order Dawn's. I don't have enough energy to make food.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna order Dawn's. And then after I order McDonald's, Big Mac, yeah, I gotta take a nap. I'm really lethargic. I got a test tomorrow. On Tuesday, but I got time. I'll study for it on Sunday. Maybe I'll hit the gym, but I don't really have energy. Then you're discombobulated. You go to the kitchen. You had just had a night out. You blow up at your mom because you're not as energetic. Yeah, everything is connected. Every single thing you do has an impact. Like right now, the reason I'm able to talk to you is because we are both healthy individuals. We have designed our lives and been phenomenally blessed by God to have very fulfilling lives, albeit it's never linear because there are times where we fall short, and to ask forgiveness and to just focus on the one thing can really turn into a friendship. As far of a reach as that is, just by changing one thing about yourself can really help you connect more with other people.
Yeah, you're right about the bad way too. That's like the cripple effect, man, right there. That's and then it's also true that So you're doing this good thing in your life, and you're finding, like you said, you're going to the gym more, you're doing all these good things. And then you also it makes you really think, because you said, no, I can't have treats. That's that's a law. You're not allowed to do it. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It was someone's anniversary and I did cheat one time.
That's okay. But forgiving yourself.
Yeah, right?
And being honest.
Man, if they got a cake with their faces on it and everyone's having cake, I'm going to have a little slice of cake. But that's the one time, right? That's
one time.
The one time. Okay, but anyways, you have that control and you have that law. And it makes you go back the other way too. It's like, okay, I'm eating a lot of carbohydrates. Like this, whenever I eat like tacos, I eat tacos and the wraps have got a lot of carbs in them, right?
They do.
And it makes me crave. I always want to have a Coke. There's certain meals in your life, like pizza, you want to have Coke with because it just goes along so good, man. You're already in that high and it just helps along with it. But so now you don't want to do that anymore because you have this law and it makes keeping that law so much harder because you crave sweets when you have tacos. So
like, I've already spent $100. What's $20 gonna do? Okay, I've already spent 120. I might as well buy it with this pair as well. 50. That's really not gonna do it.
It comes along with it, and so it goes both ways. It's like double ripple effect. It starts taking away negative things and promoting. And just from that one thing, it's just like, I really like when Jordan Peterson says that you affect everyone around you. Everything's intertwined. So you the pin and then the string and then everyone else, you know what I'm talking about? It's like that you think you don't have any effect in this world, you affect everyone. It's like, maybe not in Asia, I don't know how that works, but it's like you affect your mom, who affects my aunt, who affects someone at her post office, who affects everyone on her route, just because you've been changing the people around you.
Yeah, it's fascinating to have that type of mindset. It can be daunting because, I have this much responsibility.
Yeah.
But no, it's simple because it doesn't require that much effort.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to solve world hunger.
No.
Or provide a vaccine for a terrible disease. You just need to help your mom carry the groceries inside.
Yeah, buddy.
Or to say yes to a lift with that friend that
go help her move.
Yeah. Help them move and study with that partner. Phone that friend. Text that friend who you think isn't doing well.
Oh, you think you don't have any effect? Like I couldn't believe, because there's people at the U of A who I thought I wouldn't see again, just because they were a class friend. I've had those class friends message me and be like, "Hey, when are you coming back?" And I was like, I did not know I had that much effect on this person. Like, I just didn't, and I take it because they didn't invite me to do anything. I'm like, oh, like they don't like me. They said no to studying after class that one time that I asked, so I'm not going to ask again. It's like you can really change the lives of people.
Yeah, and
you change a lot of lives because you're a link tree.
I'm
man.
trying, man. We're at we're getting 100 downloads per week.
Yeah, buddy.
But it's just really fulfilling to have some people go up to me. Hey, I listened to the episode. I really thought this was insightful.
How often does that happen?
Twice a week.
No way.
Yeah, at the gym, at the grocery store, in Sherwood Park.
Okay.
And then if I go on the bus, I'm sure people have recognized me.
Yeah.
Not to toot my own horn, but I'm sure they've seen a post. And because Sherwood Park, there's a lot more people compared to Hinton, but we're all interconnected.
Yeah.
We Sherwood Park, there's 100,000 people, so it's not quite a hamlet anymore, or there's more than that. But people still talk a lot. So,
I get small town vibes.
Yeah,
around here.
I still keep in touch with a lot of people, and I still really care about what everyone else is doing. So by just being curious and just being compassionate to everyone that I meet, and not discounting them just because they look a certain way, or they were from this crew in high school and they were known as the druggie, or maybe they were known as the hockey boy.
They got the
and
label.
They were known as like the drama kid. To finally go, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I know we never talked, but my name's Advin. They're like, yeah, I know you. And then I think, yeah,
From the podcast.
Andrea, or what's up?
They know you from the podcast?
No, just like through school.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they were a grade up, or maybe they were the same grade that we just
Right.
never talked. But it's going back to the idea of not discounting people has been, bro, my eyes have been opened up to all these different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see in the internet is not a good representation with how people work.
That's a good point. Yeah, you get I think your podcast offers a very real life insight, because, you know, like I really love the Jordan Peterson podcast, but he's like big hitting issues. You know, this podcast is very like what people are dealing with right now. You know, you're teaching people how to connect more with their mom, how to do good in school, the benefits of going, like, you gotta, there's a lot of things that you talk about that should be talked about more. You know, little things,
people
right?
focus too much on all these high profile people.
Oh, people,
And-
climate change is their whole identity.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
you don't
they're
even know if it's
PhD, very educated in the subject, but I've always been really curious as to how the mindset of my classmates from high school work now. The ones that are successful, and that could be in lifting, that could be in business,
Yeah.
that could be in their families, that
There's success everywhere.
there's success everywhere. And just because a person is maybe working at a grocery store, or maybe they are not the most attractive, maybe they're not the most prestigious, a lot of people, they get ostracized, they aren't deemed valuable, they aren't deemed worthy. And I
Yeah.
often hear a lot of people tell me, oh, what am I supposed to talk about? I rebuttal and I go, you have something you're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be about video games, and sure, that may be on the
No.
kind
Yeah.
of not as respectable passions, but hey, that's still something that makes you happy. And if that makes you happy, then that's what matters. And
Yeah.
it could be destructive. Sure, video games could be destructive, but it's valuable to you, and I'd be open to get to know why you find value in it, and ask you, hey, is this affecting your life? Or there's a girl that came on and talked about her eating disorder. There's
Yeah,
a
I
girl
seen
that
that.
talked about her anxiety. There's actually multiple people. There's a guy who talked about his mortgage job. And there's a teacher, I've had my high school teacher or middle school teacher come on, who is retired now, who still subs. He's done 38 years of teaching, and
He's got something to say.
he's got something.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got
They
something
all
to say.
not that just.
And I have this this guy. His name's Nathan Graham,
Okay.
and he's coming on next week, and he's got one arm.
Okay.
He was born with it, and he's just such an outstanding guy, and I love talking to him. We met through the gym, but yeah, it all comes back to how are you going to present yourself? Like, how are you going to make an impact?
I'll like when I go, something that makes my day and I really respect is when I go to a job that I know is not the greatest job and it's minimum wage, and I see someone like putting in a valiant effort. I love that so much, man, because it's like this person's in a situation in their life where, you know, not everyone can go to university. We're very privileged to go to university, you know,
Very much.
and not everyone's had the same chances in life, and maybe there's a reason they're at that job, but they don't make their life hell by hating that, because that's your job, 8 hours, 5 days a week. That is a lot of your life. You know, you gotta enjoy what you're doing, even if it's not enjoyable. Like you can make things nice for yourself. You know, you have a coworker that you are always friendly to, and you get that little 10-minute chat in between, and you are nice, you know, like, and when you're nice to the customers, you know, they reciprocate it. So like not everyone, of course, you know, you get the odd person who comes in and is just not a nice person. But you know, especially in Canada, man, you get like lots of smiles and stuff. And how can that be a bad job? You know, you're helping people do something in their life that they need. You know, like I've been trying to eat a lot less fast food recently, but like every now and then, if you need a coffee and you're getting from class and you need to go to Timmy's, or you know, like it is nice to have that in life, but you need to go there. That's something people need. You know what I mean? Whether it's you're working at a bar, or you're working at like a store that sells bathtubs. You know, it's something people need, and if you're making it good, you're doing a justice to society. You're doing a good thing in life. You know, like that's nothing to look down my nose at. I really respect it. I think it's really cool when people do that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? When you see that, does that make you?
Dude, that
Inspires
me.
Yeah.
That gets me going.
Yeah.
That this person, maybe it's not the job that they dreamed of having, but they're making the best of with the cards that they've been dealt.
Yeah.
That's why we revere the people that are faced with such an adverse fate in life. Or maybe fate's not the word, but accident and injury. Maybe they got in a car crash and have to had their limbs cut off.
Something bad has happened.
Something terrible. But they still make the best out of it, and they don't let it define who they are.
Yeah, like I wish I had, like it makes me think like I should be having this much gusto and doing something that like I'm like my day is different every day. Like I'm lucky to have that, you know what I mean? It's a real privilege to be learning.
Every day, no man ever walks the same river twice, for it is not the same man, and that is not the same river.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, I think I want to do like a 3-parter with you. I feel like the music could be like, I know we had like topics spread out, but I feel like there's just so much Jahnke wisdom, you know.
I don't know if I'm worth 3 parts, man.
I think you are, bro. But only ever had there's been one other person who's or 2 people out of all the guests that have requested, okay, before you post it, I need to hear it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just I'm a person who has like, even especially like every time after I've performed on stage, I've done a lot of stage performances, I've never walked off feeling amazing about it, because I'm always like, oh, well, that part was bad. You know, I fixate way too much, and I know this about myself, and I'm trying to change it, but I fixate on the one little mistake I made that like lots of times I'll be like, oh, I messed that song up, and they're like, I didn't notice. I thought that was part of the song. You know, like it's like I'm way harder on myself than anyone else would be on me. And that's part of the, like, this is where I need to balance the other way and be like more mental health, you know, like more forgiving. And yeah, that's the beauty of God, man, is like he holds you to a certain requirement, you know. Obviously you should be perfect, but wherever you're at, he appreciates the amount of effort you're putting in, even if you're scum, man. You're like, yeah, I think you're a terrible person. I don't see you the way God sees you. I don't see your little acts of compassion that people do throughout the day, no matter how small.
But then again, too, you being hard on yourself, albeit to a degree,
yeah,
could be your gift, because you see the things that you could improve on.
Yeah.
For me, at the start of this podcast journey, I used so many filler words. It's every single person. So,
oh, it's tough not to.
You know, like right.
I keep saying okay before I start every
Yeah,
sentence. Okay.
That's just human speech. And to think that, oh, I wish I didn't have that. I wish I could have improved on that. I wish. It's never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
You have to accept certain things about yourself. And sure, you can improve on those things. You have to be able to accept you for who you are, but still not settle for who you are now. Because certainly there's
So
room for
weird.
growth.
Yeah.
But right now is all you've got.
Yeah.
And there's never going to be a time in your life where it's not going to be right now. Because sure, you can say I'll be there tomorrow, but when that tomorrow comes, it'll be now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like you spend too much time living in the past, judging your past self. You're never gonna fix the present one, right? It's it's a gift and a curse, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me a bit about the music journey.
Okay. Yeah. So as you know, Freshie, my high school rapper name, Freshie.
Yeah.
People in my hometown still call, some of the people still like, they like to bug me and call me Freshie because, and it's funny. Every time I tell people I was a rapper in high school, it's like I get awkward eyes. It's like they're like, "Oh my goodness, this kid's gonna embarrass himself," And I find it because I say I'm hard on myself, and I listen to that stuff. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what were you doing back then?" But people seem to like, and I know you like H Town.
I like H Town.
Yeah.
I like actually the newest one you dropped.
Oh, Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. That's in my playlist.
Yeah, I like that one too. That's one of the few that I like to listen back to. But I think what I did in high school was really cool because I had all my stuff up on Apple Music. It was like more official. Kind of like what you're doing with your podcast. It's actually on the podcast app. I'm like, okay, this guy's not playing around. So, and when I was in high school, I came to the city a couple times. I went to Calgary once and I was doing like little shows. And I would say I really lived like I went farther than I ever thought I was going to go. Because the way I ever became a rapper at that time was I was on Instagram and I was trying to advertise it. I made my very first song when I was in like grade 9. And I was trying to advertise it. And I didn't realize Instagram advertises based on people you follow. And so a bunch of like a couple kids in my school seen the advertisement. They're like, "Is this you?" But so I kind of got shoved into that. Like once you're out, well, that's. But so that was. Oh, sorry.
But respect to that, though. It's just you've definitely done your time, and a lot of people compare themselves to the elites, to
the best,
Kanye,
the number one. I'm like, why can't I be Kanye?
Yeah, and it's just sucking the joy out of what happened.
Yeah.
You did what you wanted, and you had said that it surpassed your expectations. But and to view that and go, I'm content with how that went. Now it's a different chapter in my life. You tried your best, and there's success in there. But then you could also view that as a failure and go, yeah, that that wasn't a success because I didn't make it my full-time job. But it depends how you frame it.
It's where your expectations are. You know what I mean? At the beginning, I was expecting nothing and I was rewarded greatly. And then now I expect way more and I'm always disappointed. It's like but I've been, and it's kind of that thing we were talking about earlier is, like you won't enjoy the journey if you're doing that. You won't, if you're holding yourself to the Kanye level,
But it's also that hedonic treadmill.
Whoa, where I like that. What does that mean?
You keep running and that moving goalpost where, okay, when you associate your fulfillments with the metrics of the accolades that you get, and the people rooting for you, the likes. When you get 100 downloads, anything below that is considered not good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
So anything past that, if you get 110, then it's constantly improving. That's where you see the money is a bottomless pit as well. Same with fame, because
Mhm.
there's no the goal, like set in goal where, okay, once I hit 100, it'll be enough. Once you get there, you keep on going.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't stop.
It's yeah. I think that I've been very blessed to even be where I'm at right now, even though no one knows who I am. It's like the love of art, right? You gotta, it's more to me than
Hinton knows who you are.
Hinton. That's very just like Sherwood knows who you
Yeah,
are,
no,
right?
Sherwood Park knows who I am.
That's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it to have that little small town fame.
Yeah.
I'm serious. The first time ever someone was like, "Hey, that's pretty good," like, boom, man,
Yeah.
it lights up your world. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, so I don't know if it's like like I don't know if it's hedonistic. Like it depends how you take it, but it can also set like as long as you're not too disappointed when you don't get it. You know what I mean? That's when it becomes a bad thing. It's like, but it is nice to have those goals. Like maybe next time I'll get 200. You know, it makes me put more love in my music because it's accomplishing something. You know, but then there's also the times like, um, we had someone pass away in our family, and I wrote a song like the next day or something. One of the best songs I've ever wrote, man. It makes me like makes me tear up every time. It's and it feels really good to express all the emotions that came out of it. And it's and when I show it to my dad and my mom, they get the same feelings, and it's like that was a gift I was able to give them by having them feel understand their own emotions by because we went through the same thing, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah. It's there's true beauty.
precious.
And when you are able to express yourself, music enhances it tenfold.
Oh yeah.
And
Because it's
because
beautiful. It sounds beautiful.
you're under a certain amount of words and it has to be on beat.
Mhm.
So like it's different from an essay or a poem even, because with poems you're just sure you're under a certain amount of words, but you don't really have to be on beat when you're reading it.
Yeah.
With songs it's a poem, but you got to make sure it flows well,
Yeah.
and every tone counts, and kind of the cadence of your voice
Yeah.
and the rhythm of it has to match. Like if you're going for like an upbeat song, the chords need to match, but if you're going for like a more a rock type vibe, then it needs to be more amped up. uh but
But
yeah, I think what you've done is remarkable, and certainly a hint in success.
I also want to mention that I no longer do rap because I didn't make a rap song about someone passing away in my family.
Yeah.
I do country now. I'm a big country guy. I love Zach Bryan.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's a person who really does the poetic stuff like you're talking about. He has the flow, but his songs are literally poems, man. Like he starts off his album with poems. He's a poet before an artist, or maybe his equal, but
That's awesome.
yeah.
But yeah, bro. Thanks for coming in the long-term podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. It was
great. It's just truly a gift to me to have met you and to see you grow.
likewise.
And it's been 2 years. Crazy.
Yeah.
We ran a marathon together.
Yeah.
And still keeping on contact, even though you're on the other campus, but took the LRT and still make some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I feel really blessed to have you in my life.
Same, man. Yeah, I could see a two-parter because We could talk
Yeah.
about lots, man. It sucks we have to cut it, but it's probably been like
Yeah,
over an hour.
'cause
So
it's a couple hours.
it's hit 2.
It's at 2, yeah.
Okay, that's too much.
But yeah, as always, to everyone listening and watching, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope, strengthen your faith, and keep it long term. Ethan Jahnke, everyone. Peace.
Oh, like when on the upstroke, it doesn't pick it up, so I gotta.
Okay.
Okay,
Sure.
all good.
All good.
I hear the devil coming knocking on my door, starting with a hit and then he's begging me for more. I don't think you understand, I just want to be free, but a sinful man's a slave to his own mortality. I'm always a sinner, but I got some good in me. Mama was a drinker of that dirty Hennessy. I started poking a young out in the dunes. First night I met the devil was the warmest night of June. Oh, voices echo in the spaces in my head, reminded me of good times when I was almost dead. Jesus taught me grace like I've never known. Revelations taught me that there's somewhere else than home. I hear the devil coming knocking on my door, starting with a hit and then he's begging me for more. I don't think you understand, I just want to be free, since man's a slave to his own mortality. I think it's time that I open up that door, loading up my shotgun with 4 bullets to be sure. I've heard all the tales and I've heard of all the lore. When I open up and shoot that son of a whore.